Well, let's bungle in the jungle. Well, it's all right with me. I guess. Jethro Tull. Love him. Can't get enough. One of my favorites. It's so good to be back. I'm doing solo here today. I know I've been gone for a few weeks. And I'll tell you, I've got quite a little story here. I decided to go down, and by the way, no, thank you. I appreciate it. I missed you too. Thank you. Ian, as you know, and of course, is Cowboy Bert. Cowboy Bert, he's fine. He just ended up going back to Wyoming for a while because of my situation. But I decided I was just going to take a little trip, as I do. I just hop in my little Cessna, and it's nothing for me. I do this all the time. People don't realize, but especially in the Americas and all the way into the some of the islands, I love doing little what they call plane hopping from island to island. And I have friends, all over the place, and they're really, of course, they're nice enough. They let me, stay with them. Of course, I pay for it. I do, by always trying to bring them good humor and good feelings, good vibes. That's what it's all about. And likewise, though, I always get more, I'm not trying it, but it just happens. People just always enrich my life so much. So anyways, on with the story. I know if I tell you, first of all, I'd say, well, believe it or not, I wouldn't expect you to believe me. I wouldn't believe some of this myself, but it's true, and that's what I'm telling you. So I of course, I want to explain. I had really thought about just saying, hey, I'm back, and sorry I was gone for a few weeks, missed a few shows, and kind of leave it at that and just go on with the show. Go on with the show. So, but I thought, you know what, I feel like I owe it to you guys to tell you what goes on in my life, because you're such a part of my life now, and I'm part of yours. I feel like we're family. I do. So anyway, so I decided I was just going to fly on down to Brazel and visit Ian for maybe 3 or 4 days, because now he's pretty much hanging down there a lot. He's got this new love interest, and I don't know. He may just end up staying down there. I think he'd be tempted to come back here, but into the States, but things are just getting to be like I never dreamed in my wildest dreams how awful things. I'm just being real, okay? We're on the brink of civil war based on QAnon fiction crap. Faux patriotism. There's just no way. You can't hardly. It's just like we're just going to have to just completely suspend reality entirely, unless we kind of point at the big frickin' elephant in the room. We're going to get to that a little later, but anyway, and it is an elephant, by the way, and it's got a big trump. Sickening. Frickin' sickening to think what my father, our fathers fought for, going all the way back, but if you just go back about, 75 years, it's pretty hard to swallow. Anyway. So anyways, I decided to go down there to see my good buddy Ian. I thought it was just it only takes about a day. It's not even a day. It's actually about 7-8 hours with my plane. Of course, I do. That's a few stops, but it's it goes relatively fast. And well, anyway, on the way down, I couldn't believe it. So I had to do like they do these. I have to get gas, and damn gas. So I stop at this place to get some gas, and the next thing I know, I'm being approached by a couple guys, and they're like, "Hey, gringo, can you get us across the border?" And I'm like, "Oh, yeah, no, but thank you anyway." No, they're like, "No, gringo, listen, you are going to get us across the border." It is. I'm like, "No, I can't. The thing about these things, a manifesto, I only have shut up." I said, as soon as I said I only have 3 seats left, one for each of you and some goodies, I guess. I knew I kind of felt like no matter what, I'm kind of in a spot. And I never worried about that. I go down there all the time, and it's just getting to be more, people are more and more desperate is what the deal is. And these are not always like bad people. They're good people made to, put into situations they can't help but do bad things. Okay. Can happen to any one of us. We all, just for the grace of God, if you will. Okay. Right. Don't be thinking that you're all that just because you've never had to do this, that, or the other. Okay. Because it can happen. Now, some people, there's no problem. They're bad people, kind of born to be bad. But bad. But most people aren't. That end up having to do this when it's just desperate situations. So I said, I don't think I'm sorry, but the manifesto, I could get in a lot of trouble here. And they're like, yeah, well, once you get us across the border, we have this drop. You just drop us off. There's a strip not far, and everything will be just peachy. They spoke in very broken English. Okay, they didn't say peachy. Okay, but I'm like, well, I don't think so. I'm sorry. I really am. I wish I could help you out. I do. But no, they're not having it. They're like, you're going to help us out. You're going to help us out. It's not a decision you get to make here, pal. And I'm like, oh, jeez. Oh, well, okay. And I've been in a lot of tough situations. It's just the way it is. But so I'm like, okay, all right. Well, let's get going. Hop in the plane. It's all good. Yeah, what's your name? Kind of try to get things as friendly as possible, because I'm partly thinking I hope they don't decide to kidnap me, because I'm not a kid anymore. Anyway. And when I got in there, that's the thing. So I get in. What I'm saying, that's the thing is, I always try to keep it light and airy. I guess it's the airplane pilot in me that does that. So they get in, and I was cracking jokes like, I don't understand. I don't know where you come from, but when I go into these Mexican restaurants, have you ever gone in a Mexican restaurant? I said, and they're like, oh, see, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, yeah, right. I said, have you noticed that the frijoles are never free? They just aren't. They always end up charging you, even though that says that they say frijoles. The holies cost. Yeah. Well, they didn't have much of a sense of humor. Either that or they just didn't get the jokes. I don't know. So, anyways, we're up in the air with the flying over, looking farm country and all. Well, it's kind of nice. It's beautiful down there. Beautiful. So, okay, there's this airstrip. They're pointing it out. Get over there, over there. And I'm like, that is hardly, that's really, even for a plane this size, that's not a good place to land. I'm just saying, it's just not real good. No, that's where you're going. I'm like, jeez, come on. Okay, well, I am one of the world's finest pilots. I really am. I get with the plane and we become one. Okay. So I sometimes think I I can do extraordinary, miraculous things, and this was no exception. So I'm like, okay, all right, here we go. We're going to do this. And so we go down, and sure enough, I just do this almost textbook for landing on, a postage stamp with ruts and hideous stuff. Okay. But I did it. Really nice. I've got to pat myself on the back. And, guys, I sometimes think, I should just do this for a living. Go and, see if I can land in people's backyards and give them rides with my airplane. But anyway, so I get there, and all of a sudden, about 15 guys come right up to the plane. These other guys get out, and man, I mean to tell you, they take me. They take me hostage, and I'm like, holy guacamole! This is not good. Not good at all. Not good. No. And I'm like, come on. Here I was being nice enough to get these guys here, and now what are you doing? I mean, everybody's got their limit. No, come on. And I swear to God, they blindfolded me the whole shoot match. I'm thinking, oh boy. And this is, I don't know where I'm at exactly, but I'm not sure if I'm even in Brazel at this point. I'm just kind of real close somewhere in that area. And so I'm like, okay, I got to set this out. And I don't want to get into all the details. All in all, they were pretty nice to me. It wasn't like they were trying to be mean to me, but there for a while, not to use more plain jargon, but it was touch and go. It was. It was kind of nerve-wracking, to say the least. It's the first time I've ever felt like I was captured by the enemy. I'm getting too old for that crap. So I want to tell you, though, how I ended up. I was there for about 14 days, give or take. Here again, they fed me nice, really pretty good food. And I was able to, they had the place where I could kind of get cleaned up and stuff. And they were, like I said, it wasn't like they were trying to be mean to me. They were just thinking of this, that, and the other. So they're trying to figure things out. So like 14 days, and during that time, even though they can speak broken language, broken English, and I know a little bit of Spanish, but you start getting into that Brazilian, it gets a little more complicated. It's like Spanish, but more difficult. And I really wasn't like, I'm not into, I'm not going to pick up a whole new thing here. But what I did was, I think what really made a lot of difference, is I used my sense of humor, and they liked it. They did. They really liked me. There was all kinds of things all day long. I just like to amuse myself. I'd be around them, and they're like cracking up. I mean, it just got to be more and more. And I'm like, I'm not even sure if they understand everything, but somehow or another, I'm really getting rapport with them, and things are going good that way. So, it ended up. This is how it worked, and I really do think I'd still be there. I do. I don't think if they didn't like me, I don't know. But I knew they weren't going to kill me because I was too much of an ass yet. But we made a deal where I was flying. I ended up going back and forth about, probably 8 or 9 times, transporting people back over to the other airstrip and back, and I don't know, maybe even some narcotics or something. I hate to say that, but I don't want to be naive. Nobody came out and said, hey, we're doing this, we're putting this on. But, what am I going to do? Am I going to go, nope, not going to do that? And they're like, well, okay, then you're perfectly useless, and we'll take you out and shoot you. See? A lot of people are finding themselves in these terrible situations where they're just forced to do things like I was saying, they're not, it's not like they're criminals. And it gets all this border crap coming up. It's like most of these people are just super desperate coming up here. And then the right wingers, it's like what they want to do is they send all this message out. Oh, yeah, the borders are wide open. Yeah, send the message far and wide. Wide open. Biden loves you. Come on down or come on up. And then when you get there, it's like, blah, 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 blah. How these people, and Biden's just blah, 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 blah. And it's like, no, you guys are propagandists. And you send the lies far south, and you've got everybody believing that everything's just peachy keen up here. And they get up here, and it's like, well, it's not. No. And that's just the half of it. I mean, this just goes on and on. They do this all the time. There is nothing these dirtbags won't stoop to. I knew this 30, 40 years ago, but it is just off the rails now. Now, and we're going to get into this because I think it's important. So anyways, I'll just tell you, finally they set me free. And here I go off into the sky in my airplane. And I went in, then I finally met up with Ian, who was he was just really concerned. I hadn't called him or anything. But, and then I worked out, and of course, got in touch with my wife and Cowboy Bert and, some of my, friends that knew I was going. I just told them, hey, I got a little waylaid. Thought up, waylaid. But everything, anyway, so I spent about 4 more days down there with Ian, as per planned. And then finally, I flew back, and it was uneventful, pretty darn nice. I hit some pretty rough weather when I coming back into the States, but did it. Everything's good. And I get back in the States, it's so funny, just being gone, just that short period of time, it's a culture shock. It is. It's funny. I can get used to being a captive. I can get used to being a captive in a foreign country. Kind of easier than I can get used to coming back to my own country and seeing things that are just crazy absurd. For example, I get back, of course, getting with my wife. That was wonderful. And then we're watching TV, and the commercial comes on, and they got this. I can't believe this stuff. God. Anyways, they got these shorts. I know you probably see this as underwear. I just got to point out a few things. These are what I call ball sack underwear. Yeah, why didn't I think of that? Mine are so huge, I need a separate storage unit for them. Yeah. But anyways, I think they call them ball hammocks. Something like that. It's something hammock. So that while you're doing your life as a man, walking around, by the way, women can never grow a pair. Okay. They just can't. Yet they want equality. The same women who just went, man, just squish you men, you disgusting, you're nothing like that. And I can do anything and all that. And then they're the first ones to say, why don't you grow a pair? They'll say it right in front of kids too. Right in front of children. They do this all the time on TV. That you just don't have the balls. How nice is that? Yeah. And then these are, like I said, these are the same women that are like, no, I'm every bit of, and that's good. I'm fine with it. I'll tell you what, I could come up with tons of things I think women are actually better at than men, okay? Yeah. Including operating heavy equipment. So don't get me wrong here. It's just this double standard. I can't imagine going around saying to a woman, why don't you just drop an egg, baby? And, oh my God, I'd be crucified, wouldn't I? But grow a pair. God, you say this all the time. Primetime TV. Yeah, they just need to grow a pair. Anyway, apparently some of these guys think they've They need a place for their pair that they've grown. They need that. Maybe that's where growing comes from. Grow a pair, groin. I'm growing a pair. I'm growing a pair. Anyways, these underwear was this nice little pouch for your balls. So, and like I said, when I saw that, I was like, oh my God, why didn't I think of that? My God, what am I not thinking of? They should have maybe I should come up with a pair of underwear that not only has a nice little pouch or hammock for the balls, but this nice little tunnel for the penis to hang out. Isn't that cool? I think it's brilliant. So anyway, I should do that. I should do that. Anyway, I digress. But then there's a commercial that I really swear I was having some. I can't remember what, but I was eating in my chair. So I do that more and more the older I get. There's a little snack. I think I was having graham crackers or something in milk. I know. I'll get the hate mail for that one. And I saw this commercial just a flash, and I swear it come right out my nose. There's this commercial, and this woman has got she's got two bottles, breast milk making bottles attached to her tits. She's walking around like she's doing house cleaning or something, with these two bottles attached to her tits on TV, on a commercial. I don't remember what the commercial was, but I was like, my God. And it wasn't like she was dressed. It was like she had a shirt on. So it probably says, just this nice little cutout right around the nipples of this little, attach these little suckers on. I'm like, God, jeez. I don't know, Is it me? Or are people losing their freaking minds? That should never be natural, I don't think. That should never be. Okay, I'm good with, don't get me wrong, I'm good with breastfeeding. Remember me and my crew, we're the first ones that were saying we don't think women should have to wear bras. In fact, we think women should be able to go just like men. Anywhere men can be without a shirt, a woman should be without a shirt. In fact, encourage it. Okay? So I am for equality. But when you're walking around like you're going into the office and you've got these things hanging on your tits. No. No. Anyway, just too much, huh? So anyway, speaking of too much, back to the elephant in the room. I think it's amazing how the same people, the very same ones that are scared witless of socialism, scared to death. My God, they are frightened out of their mind. They love their Social Security, and they love everything socialist. Like they love the roads, and they love the fire department, and the police department. Oh my God, jeez, they just love it. But they hate paying taxes. Make no bones about that. Okay, I get it. I think everybody should pay their fair share, but let's face it. One particular party that starts with an R has, well, at least since the presidents whose first name started with an R and last name was with an R. I'm seeing a pattern here. They just make sure that the rich, the filthy, wealthy people who have just more money than they could ever spend in 50,000 lifetimes, well, they make sure that they don't have to pay any taxes. See, it's a wonderful thing. Or as little as possible. I mean, they subsidize oil, companies that make billions of dollars a year, they give them all kinds of breaks. Because we wouldn't want to have billionaires, having to, pay anything. After all, let's face it. I mean, come on. This is their logic, okay? Think about this. This is the logic. A billionaire will pay more taxes, even though they're low. The percentage-wise is next to nothing. There's no incentive for them to invest in their companies or in people or nothing. Because, like I said, they got all this money. They got like 15 million times more than they could spend in, you know what I mean? And so the money just sits. Just sits and accumulates interest. Does nothing for the economy. Does nothing for capitalism, which they're so pro-capitalism, aren't they? Aren't they pro-capitalism? Hate socialism? Isn't that the game? Isn't that the name of it? That's what they're all about, right? So they will say, oh, look now, this billionaire, he's easily paying many times more than the custodian, say. So he's more than paying his fair share. And the custodian, who's getting charged, what is it, like 25, 30-ish, maybe more percent of his income, say. So if the custodian makes $40,000 a year, about 10,000 of that goes to taxes. So the custodian barely has enough to put gas in his old beat-up car and feed his family, and that's the problem. That's why everybody's hungry. Everybody's hungry now, starving. And, of course, the media turns that into a feel-good moment. See, when all help the needy when they need to eaty. I don't know who's helping them. I don't know where, but apparently all these, and they said the need just going up, 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 up. Well, yeah, it has ever since that, since Trickle Down himself came into office. So anyway, this is the thing. In order to distract from the fact that the party that starts with an R and now ends with an ump, that they don't do anything for their people at all, their constituents. And no matter what, they just don't. They're serving, and it's 100%. There's no, it's not gray at all. There's no need to get into any kind of intricacy here. It is clear as, just straight up, they are out to serve their corporate masters. Not to say there aren't some Democrats doing it too. Yeah. They're up at the teat of the billionaire. So what they do, though, and they've been doing this forever, using propaganda like a Rush Limbaugh, there's another R, Rush Limbaugh, Rush Limbaugh, authority, what I say is, it's just that pompous jerk off stuff, okay? And now they're just all over the place. All these little ditto heads became talk show hosts, okay? And they know best. Their arrogance and ignorance are, well, unmatched and in equal proportion. But what they do is to all those people who vote for the party that starts with an R, what they do is they distract them by, instead of saying, hey, have you noticed that everything we do isn't for you, and it actually doesn't benefit you, it benefits the billionaires and the bazillionaires, but it actually works against you, okay? So you're getting poorer all the time. And then they'll try to tell people the reason for that is socialism. Democrats, they're the ones that are making you poor. Not us. They give super tax breaks to the filthy rich and none for you. I mean, and if they do, they get a little something they can say, and then 3 years later it goes right back, in fact, even higher than it was before, just like what they recently did with $3 trillion, approximately under the tutelage of Mr. Golf player himself. It was so funny when he used to say, well, I got Obama. All he does is play golf. I think Obama probably played in 2 terms. I bet I was on the actual days out on the course. I bet less than 30. I really do. I bet less than 30. I bet you look into it. For 8 years. I bet with Rump, it was probably 30 days within 40 days. Yeah. Every time you see him, he's out there with his big, fat butt. You're riding around in that frickin' little electric cart, which is electric, by the way. Shame on you. Shame on you, Mr. Rump. You're a bad one, Mr. Rump. Your hats all come from China. Your daughter could be hotter, but, I can go on and on. Well, you loved her when she was dumb. No, okay, all right. So it is like that, right? So the distraction is so that you don't pay attention to the fact that they are screwing you every which way but loose. And baby, there's no excuse for the abuse that they're giving you. They have something called propaganda distraction. That's right. And so now they got you all freaked out about the border. Oh my God, there's millions of people every day going to come through, and they're going to give drugs to all your kids, and then they're going to rape your daughters and your sons and all this. Oh, Jesus God. Oh, what about 9/11? Those guys flew over here. Yeah, the bad ones, the ones that actually supposedly did any real harm. They don't even, I mean, come on. They flew here. And they lived right next door to the CIA. But you guys are all freaked out because there's a bunch of people in complete desperation coming to your border because some frickin' right-wingers down there tell them, "Not, come on up. The water's perfectly warm. So it's all good." Now, it's a game, see? Okay, now, moving on, we got you freaked out about drag queens. Men who dress like women. Yeah. And the whole thing with them, it's black people, it's Chinese people, it's Jewish people, it's the gays, that's your problem. That is your problem. That is what you've been told over and over and over again. It occupies your mind. Because that's all you get on that right-wing crap. You go down these places, it's all over the place. It's just right-wing on the TV and right-wing radio. Right-wing radio. Propaganda. That's lies. Look up propaganda. Yeah, what I'm telling you, you could say, well, I'm trying to propaganda. Yeah, no, I'm telling you the truth, see? Propaganda is a big, heavy, thick crap load of crap. That's why it's propaganda. It's designed to get you to see things for other than they are. And it's also designed to distract you. And my God, they're wall to wall. Okay, it's time this was said. So while you're worried about the drag show, and if kids are going to learn about the fact that black people were treated like crap in this country, well, that's got you all, you know this is what's going on. From the outsider's point of view, I can tell you, it's like, oh, when I'm talking to somebody, all of a sudden you're freaked out about the border. Oh, that's what they're working on you on this week. And next week it'll be, you're concerned about the gays. And the next week you're concerned about the Chinese. It's just whatever they're working on you on. That becomes you simpletons. I'm sorry, but you're a simpleton because you don't have a brain cell working. You can't think for yourself. You listen to their crap, and that becomes you. You become crap. Crap for brains. So, but I'm just telling you, in case you are paying one lick of attention to me, or if people listening to my show can go out and spread the word, it couldn't be simpler. It could not be simpler. What they're doing is they're serving their corporate wealthy masters. They are. That's all they're doing. That is all they are doing. And to see to it that their constituents, the people that vote for them, supposedly, you want to go down that road? Yeah, you want to go down there? They want to make sure those people don't ever realize it. So what they do is they stuff their head full of all this other BS. And I swear, that this week, okay, it's Taylor Swift. But next week, It could be jelly beans. It really could, just like M&Ms. That just whatever comes out of their frickin' whatever comes out of their sick minds, they'll just wall to wall it for a while. And I'm telling you, like I said, this week it's Swifty. Okay, that's Taylor Swift. But it could just as easily be that next week it's jelly beans, and we can even go specific as to say it's red jelly beans. Red jelly beans. And you can bet in a couple weeks, what's on everybody's mind? On the right with another R, what's on their mind? What are they concerned about? Red jelly beans. They will be. I swear to God, I would bet my life on it. If that's what they decided to do, the next thing you know, I'd be like, Taylor Swift who? Border what? What are you talking about? It's red jelly beans, red jelly beans, red jelly beans. Of course, it would never be red jelly beans because Reagan liked jelly beans. So I don't think they would ever go after jelly beans. But if they wanted to, yeah, that's right. We'd have half the country freaking out over red jelly beans. See? But while they're freaking out over red jelly beans, they cannot be freaking out because they've only got so much room up there in their noggins. They can't be freaking out over billionaires getting massive tax breaks and getting by the courts, and so they can really skew the system to completely favor them and all that. See? So I just wanted to say that's just as simple as that. Okay? Now, before we go, if I still have some time on the clock, I just wanted to touch on a few things. Because a few things about religion. Because it's just, while I was down there being held captive, this came up, that's what they like to talk about a lot. It's amazing. And it's like they want to convince you of something because they're not really convinced themselves. And somehow, if they can convince you, they'll feel better about something that they're having difficulty swallowing. So, and I get, I know this happens with a lot of people in the Muslim faith as well. Just these people, they really, really, they know, they think they need to believe certain things, but they do have trouble with it, and they think if they can, like I said, that's their whole thing. If they can convince you, then okay, they're a little more solid. And the more people that agree with them, the better they feel about believing what they believe. Okay, so that's the thing. So anyways, this come up where they're talking about, all right, Adam and Eve. Okay? And so as I'm talking about Adam and Eve, this is just something I felt is kind of fun to think about, because this is really, isn't this contextually, this is the roots of it all. That God is just hanging out. There's nothing at all. Just nothingness. God just, and for who knows how long. Almost eternity. For eternity, not almost. For eternity, God's just like in this empty, dark space. Nothing. And one day, God decides, well, I'm going to kind of shake things up a little bit. Boom! I'm going to create the heavens and the earth. And so, like that. So he sets about to do that, and he's in a real hurry. For a guy that has all the time in the world, he wants to create the heavens and the earth in like 6 days. So, and then it just matches to a perfect week, so that it's like God understands weeks. I mean, he's into weeks, like what we have here on this planet, like a week, like he's into the calendar already. It's like, okay, I haven't done anything for eternity, and all of a sudden now, I want to see if I can pull this off in 6 days so I can rest, get back to just chilling on the seventh day. Okay, all right, so it all makes sense now. I mean, so far you're with me. You think, yeah, for sure, that makes sense. Okay. And so, anyways, he's playing around with things, and he's like, it's kind of dark. I'm okay with dark. I think dark is fine. Maybe even good. I'm not sure, but I have this thought. I've been kind of entertaining it. How about I'm just going to do it. Let there be light. Oh, all of a sudden there's light. Wow. That's interesting. It gives contrast because before it was just dark. So now it's let there be light. And so when there was light, God saw that there was light. And he saw that it was good. It was like, okay, well, hell, light is good too. We got dark. No problem with that. That's where it's always been. Always been into dark. But now I got light. Wonderful. Woo! It's good. It's good. He all-knowing God, he didn't know that before. But, whatever. Come on. Nobody's perfect. Wait, God is. Okay. God is perfect. So, a little confused already? Well, you should be. All right. Now, one of the things he's done is he's created the heavens and the earth. All the heavens and then earth. Yep. Just earth. They've got lots of planets out there and stuff, but there's no mention of that. It's just heavens and earth, which, by the way, from earth, all you see is the heavens. And from the heavens, I don't know, maybe that's all you see is earth. I would think you would see more, but whatever. But for what it's worth, he does this heavens and earth. And then the next thing you know, he's got this Garden of Eden thing going. Pretty cool. Garden of Eden. And it's just got this one guy down there just hanging out. By the way, in case you don't know who I'm talking about, his name is Adam, which I think is Hebrew for like first dude, first human. I think it means human. Yeah, that's what it means. Adam means human, I think in Hebrew or Yiddish or some other ridiculous language. So anyway, then God's like, he's just staring down there and just like, I'm okay with being alone for eternity, but this guy, I don't know. He just doesn't, I know. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go down. I'm going to talk with him. We're going to have a little chit chat. And this is back when God, by the way, actually he'd talk right to you. He's like, come on, right down. And Adam's like, yeah, I'm a little lonely, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what it's like not to be alone. I've never been anything but alone. I don't even know. I don't know. But you, God, you're all knowing. So you decide. And he's like, okay, well, I kind of just created you out of thin air, but I want to get you a companion. And Adam's like, sure, cool. That's fine. What's that? And he's like, like somebody like you, but opposite. Somebody you could, somebody that doesn't have the little snake in the apple hanging down, around their midsection. Doesn't have that little snake there in the apple. How would that be? Like, fine. And then God's like, and I'm going to actually take and give me here. Give me one of your ribs here. And Adam's like, what the God? And then, okay, fine. I guess I can spare a rib for whatever you've got in mind here, God. And out of the rib, boom, here comes this woman. She's a woman. And she's got just what she needs to be able to have sex. She's even comes perfectly equipped with the feeders. Those boobs. So that's cool. But this isn't for having sex. This is just, who knows why. But God all-knowing, he can see the future. He does. He knows everything he knows everything forever. Which is weird that he didn't realize in the beginning that he should be give God a companion, but whatever. See, I'm telling these guys this stuff, right? And they're like, oh, yeah, I get you. And I'm like, no, stay with me because we're going to go. This is good. This is really juicy stuff. So he makes this companion who seems like the perfect, lime in the coconut situation, if you follow my drift, And even, like I said, she even seems to be equipped to even procreate, got the feeders going down, got everything she needs to do this. But nope. That's not what this is about. And then one day she's tempted by the snake. And you always see when you're a kid going to these little schools for what do they call them? I don't know. There's some of that indoctrination school for religious indoctrination school, Sunday school. Yeah, that's what it is. So she sees this snake, which I think is symbolic of Adam's penis. I do. And it's like the snake encourages her to, get some of that juicy apple, which I do think is symbolic for his balls, which now, thankfully, to this new company, they have a nice hammock to hang out in. So anyways, but they're not supposed to do anything, not doing anything. But all of a sudden, this snake tempts her. And boy, she goes for it. She's like, yeah, I don't know why not. But God said, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. Because if you do, you're going to end up multiplying. See, I don't know if he mentioned that, but he did say, don't do it. Don't have any of that snake and apple stuff, okay? And so, anyways, they do. All right, good. Perfectly. So far, everything here is like, why would you ever question this for a second? It all makes perfect sense, doesn't it? So now she has 2 kids, Cain and Abel. Okay? Cain and Abel, or Abel and Cain, depends on how you want to look at it. So she has them. They have 2 little boys. Original sin. God's already coming down. He's like, hey, look, you had this beautiful paradise here. Everything was just fine until you decided to procreate. Okay, I don't know what the hell was going on. I don't know what possessed you to do this, but you didn't listen to me. But here we go. Now you got two little boys, 2 males. Okay, now those 2 boys, in short order, relatively speaking, get relatively, okay, one of them kills the other. Yeah, I mean, God, please. There's only 4 humans on the whole of all of God's creation. 4. Mommy, daddy, and brother. If you're one of them, that's 3 others. You and brother and daddy and mother, see? But no, right out the gate, not far from departing the hoo-ha, one of them kills the other one. Yeah. Kills them. Let that sink in. Okay, that's enough. All right, now, then they have a 3rd child. I don't know what the dealio was. They got all the time in the world. They're sitting there in paradise, the Garden of Eden, but so they lose one. They lose Abel. Cain, kill him. I don't know. They maybe got in an argument over who, I don't know. I've talked to these guys. Some of them were saying that they're going to have sex they had to have sex with their mom, Eve. That's how we get to that's how more kids come about. I'm like, no. Nope. I'm not going to go with, you guys do what you figure it out. But mother, then, Eve, has another kid. Yeah. And they call him Seth. Did you guys know that? Yeah, they have the 3rd child and then Seth is born after Cain kills Abel. And they're kind of like, hey, Cain, try not to kill this one. Well, the next thing you know, old Jed's a millionaire. Next thing you know, you got Adam and Eve, and then you got Cain, and then here comes the 3rd child born after the 2nd child was killed, Abel, and then Seth. And what do you have? What happens next? All of a sudden, there's the clan of Cain, the Canaans, and then the clan of Seth, which I think they're called the Sethtes or something like that. There's a whole clan of them. I mean, tell you, I don't know how these boys did it, but with nothing to procreate with, let's say that, unless it was their mother, which that doesn't sound like, I think God would have said, come on. I'm not gonna, you guys screwed up. You committed original sin, but I'll be damned if I'm going to let these boys do their mom. Wouldn't you think so? Wouldn't you? Well, anyways, you can talk to any religious zealot, nut job, whatever you want to talk to, and they'll all tell you, oh yeah, we can't explain that part of the Bible. The next thing you know, there's just all these people, and they're all begetting each other. That's what they do. They beget. Yeah, I don't know, because it's a sin to fornicate. You can't get to heaven if you fornicate. So I guess, I always think of fornication as, it's like having sex, right? So no, that's not good. You're not supposed to do that. And so all of a sudden, there's people all over the place from these two boys. Okay. So if we can get this far into the story, and I mean, this is straight out from the get-go. If we can go that far and go, yeah, I'm believing, I don't see any reason not to believe this, then by all means, the whole rest of all this stuff that you're being told is perfectly understandable to you. Makes perfect sense. But for me, and I literally could go on and on. I'm just trying to be, as it is, out of respect to, because I do believe there has to be something somewhere that created something. It's a conundrum, the chicken and the egg, right? But somehow or another, I believe in a higher power. I do. But I really have a difficult time with this story. Just up to, if up to that point, if everything else after that point made perfect sense and was perfectly logical, I'd be like, well, I don't know who come up with it, but everything else. So, but no, it doesn't get any better. It doesn't. It just gets more and more bizarre. The people out there who are Christians who have never read the Bible, or they listen to these guys who try to explain crap on the radio, and they talk with the same Rush Limbaugh pompous authority, and they don't know their head from their butt. They wouldn't know Jesus if he walked right up and spit in their face. These morons. Yeah. So anyway, I just thought I'd share that with you, because I spent a lot of time, and I really think I've got a lot of people down there just going, whoa, does not compute. And hopefully that message will be shared far and wide. And I told them, I said, you know what? You can be good people without buying into this nonsense. You can be decent, loving human beings, kind to each other, accepting of each other. In fact, probably a lot more so. If you just stay away from this crud. It's mind poison. It really is. And of course, there's people out there go, oh, you're from the devil and all this. Like, yeah, a lot of these people are looking from the devil. I don't know, but these are the same people who think that this Trump is the second coming, and you can just smell the sulfur when that SOB walks in the room. It just, all of a sudden, what's that? Oh. Yeah, but you don't see it. No, because you're Christians, right? Yeah. Yeah, you don't see that he's just a completely back-assward version of Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. Yeah, he's back-assward version of it. And that would make him the... Let me think about this for a second. Mm-hmm. You know what that means? Yes, he's the anti-freaking Christ. You guys seem to be in love with the Antichrist. Yeah, pretty much almost just like the Bible says. He will come and he will wear the cloak of decency, but he'll smell like sulfur. He will look orange. He will be phony as a phony as a $3 bill. It's just, and all about greed and all about, what is it? It's not lust, but it's like that. And that's his whole thing. And, a lot of these people's names, these leaders with R's. They've had divorce after divorce, and they do all these things that are supposedly very non-Christian, and then they run and with they're in the facade of that they're so righteous and so Christian, but they're really nothing Christ-like at all in any way, shape, or form. And then people get upset. It's like, oh, Jesus was a liberal. And then they're like, that just scrambles their head. But if you look at what Jesus was all about and what liberals all about, that you can't deny it. And if you look at what like Trump and a lot of these people with their affiliation of R are all about, well, no, they're very, very greedy and very selfish and very, anyway, I just wanted to say, this is just the last thing I want to cap this off because I tie it all together, isn't it ironic that the same people who absolutely hate socialism don't like giving to the needy, even though that's what they're all about, they say, with their, Jesus and stuff, because that's what Jesus was all about. But they don't like it. And they don't like this handout crud. No. And they're just not for it. And they get really upset about people that end up taking what they haven't worked for or earned or whatever it is. These same people now, this same party is just insisting that you have a kid. It's not only about this abortion thing, but they want to stop you from being able to, they want to make it so every time you have sex, you end up pregnant, and if you end up pregnant, you end up pumping out a kid. Yeah, a child. And they don't get, once that kid is born, he doesn't have the resources and the wherewithal, so he would need liberal handouts. Yes, he would need to rely on socialism. It's like, no, we hate socialism. And by God, you're gonna have a kid. You're gonna have sex and you're gonna have kids. It's like, Jesus, God. I'm just saying, think about this. Think about this. These same people who just absolutely detest socialism, because that's what they've been, after all, told to detest. They hate it with a passion. They don't like people just living on the dole, getting free anything. Then these are the same ones that are making everybody have a kid, even though they can't afford them. Even though they can't afford to take care of them, afford to feed them, afford to anything. And then they get upset because the schools are making it so that they have free lunches. And I, for one, would be like, hey, if you can't have the baby, you can't afford it, you can't feed it, you shouldn't be having it. You've heard my shows. I'm like, it's really just seems like it's common sense. If I can't afford to have 4 airplanes, I just can't have them. I don't expect people to maintain them and put gas in them for me. But I'm not going around forcing people to have airplanes. It's just like, come on. How cracked can you be? So anyways, I think I've more than gone past my time here, but it's been a while. All this bottled up inside me. Oh, it's been building up inside of me for I don't know how long. So anyways, with that, I'm going to check out and get going. We'll hopefully get back on the track here. It may still be a little bumpy. I may miss a show or two. Maybe not. Just maybe one show coming up I might miss. But then I should get things back on track. It's because I've missed you guys so much. And like I always say, please go out, be kind to one another, love one another, see things as they really are. Don't be fooled and hoodwinked. And, until next time, just be good, take care of yourself, and, I'll see you back here next time. All right? Bye-bye.
You've been enjoying another episode of The G-Block Show, and we hope you're telling your friends about The G-Block Show. If you have feedback or suggestions or would like to be a G-Block Show sponsor, please contact us at gblockshow.com. For the price of a fancy store-bought card, I will make you an online video card. An invitation, greeting, birthday wish, get well, congratulations, anything, and perhaps more than what you'd buy a traditional boring card for. I can make it for you. It's great because it's online and it can be shared or sent to anyone and everyone. No postage needed. And I'm sure you'll agree that I'm way more entertaining and lovable than any paper card. And not to mention I'm a celebrity. Oh, it's so easy. All you have to do is go to www.gblockshow.com. I'm very salty, and I can't wait to hear from you. Well, I can, but I'd rather not.